So should I start calling names? What are your expectations for this webinar? Okay, let's start with Sam Chris. Can you hear me, Sam Chris? Hello. Okay, if Sam Chris is not available, what are your expectations for this webinar, Sam Chris? Okay, if Sam Chris is not available, then we'll move on to the next person. Olatunji, what are your expectations and what are you looking forward to? Okay, I guess two people joined us. Two people joined us newly. Let's welcome them. And okay, Sam Blog, please can you introduce yourself? What you do, where you're chatting from, where you are joining from? Sam Blog.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sam Blog.
So my name is Samson Ogunle. I'm joining from Ogun State.
Yeah, we're joining from.
Ogun State, Ogun State.
Okay, Ogun State. And what do you do?
I'm a graphic designer.
Okay, welcome to the webinar, Sam Blog. Okay, let's move on to the next person. Nafisat Jimo. Please can you introduce yourself, your name, what you do and where you're joining from? Nafisat.
All right. Thank you very much, Mavis, for the introductory session. Nafisat is not available. So, in the interest of time, um, we have this morning uh, Mr. Samuel Izikwe, who happens to be a Nigerian and is a software engineer that is based in Berlin, Germany. He relocated to Germany in the year 2022 and earned a degree in software engineering from Code University of Applied Sciences. Mr. Samuel currently works as a software engineer at GmbH, a climate-focused technology company that is dedicated to sustainable agricultural solutions. Right beyond his professional role, Mr. Samuel is actively engaged in community building and innovation. He leads a network of Nigerian founders in Germany, fostering collaboration and developing solutions that address bilateral changes between Nigeria and Germany. His work is his work in this space is focused on strengthening cross-border relations and promoting job creations through entrepreneur and technology. We are glad this morning to have Mr. Samuel Nzikwe join us this morning as our speaker. So, in the course of this webinar, he'll be sharing with us a lot of things um, with respect to how you relocated to Germany and all. Mr. Samuel Nzikwe, please can you say hi to everyone?
Hi everyone, you can hear me clearly. I'm audible enough, right? Cool.
Yes, yes, you are.
Okay, nice. Hi everyone, I'm Sam. Yeah, I mean the intro was already perfect. I work as a software engineer in Berlin, moved to Germany in 2022, and since then I've been living. I occasionally visit Nigeria though. So just like a little bit of disclaimer, everything I say here is going to be my opinion. They do not represent the opinion of the organization I work for or the organization I run. So just take it as my personal opinion with everything I say. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Samuel. I hope our attendees are with their pens and notepad, notebooks to jot down great points that Mr. Samuel will be dishing out this morning. So, without further ado, Mr. Samuel, I would like for you to briefly tell us a little about your academic journey, what you studied, and what you're currently what you studied, and where you studied.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think my academic background is quite long or exhaustive. I have a degree in physics from the Federal University of Technology over in Nigeria. So my first degree was actually in physics. And when I finished, I went for youth service, served in Delta State. I think I graduated in 2018 and then went for national youth service in Delta State. And shortly before I finished my youth service, I think I still had 1 month to go. And then I got the opportunity to actually leave and I had to take it. So I left Nigeria just 1 month to rounding up my national youth service. Came to Germany. It was a scholarship, kind of a scholarship, but probably I'll give details later. But it was a scholarship, and because it was an all expense paid, I didn't have to pay for anything. It was as simple as just packing my bags and leaving. So it was easy to make a decision. And so I left Nigeria in 2018. I think that was December 8th, 2020. Sorry, I left December 8th, 2022. 2021, sorry. I left 2021, December 8th, 2021. Came to Germany and started a new degree program in software engineering. That took 3 years, Code University of Applied Sciences. And while I was studying, I was also working as a software engineer student with a company called Axel Springer. They actually sponsored my coming. And when I graduated, I got a job. And now I work as a software engineer for Clean. Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Samuel, for taking us through your academic background. Yeah. So, if you have any questions so far, please kindly drop it in the chat box. We are going to treat it accordingly. Right. So, moving forward, Mr. Samuel, what influenced your decision to study in Germany, and how did you narrow down to your choice of university?
Number one was specifically, I did physics. And if you studied physics in Nigeria, you practically understand what I mean. Most of the basic sciences in Nigeria, you study them and you had just one career option, which was become a teacher or become an assistant lecturer. And then eventually you go through the whole academic career route. That wasn't what I wanted for myself. In fact, I wasn't sure if that was exactly what I wanted. But shortly during my 200 level, we took a course in programming, even though we did Fortran and COBOL and all that kind of programming. And that was my first introduction to programming languages and tech in general. So when I finished, I also served during my 200 level, I went to AIT for my internship, like 200 level series internship. And I was a media person, like I did on-air person. I mean, you can see the irony, studying physics and then doing internship as a media person just because I could speak well. I came to intern as an engineer. And then one day the station manager comes to the office and thinks, oh, dude, you talk very well. You're a good communicator. What are you doing in engineering? And she goes, I want you to become an on-air presenter or a radio presenter. And that was how I went on to become an AIT presenter eventually. I did a couple of shows on AIT. I
Wow.
also recorded radio programs on Repower FM Port Harcourt those days. And when I came back, that exposed me, like the media space exposed me a lot. I met a lot of people. And coincidentally, that was an election season. Someone was running to be president of Nigeria. He was the youngest presidential candidate then, Chike Ukebu. And that was how we met. And he's like, look, I don't have any media person. Why don't you become my head of media? And that was how I became a head of media for a presidential candidate.
Wow.
And Buhari, of course, won that election against all of our campaigning and all of our media stuff. Too bad. But then after the election, he runs a startup in the US, New York. It's called Startup 52. He's basically helping Nigerians in the US who are founding expand their ventures. So shortly after he was leaving, he asked me what was next for me, because that was exactly the time I was also leaving school. And he says, what's the next thing you're gonna do with your life? And I'm like, honestly, I have no idea. I'm graduating and I'm going into the labor market. So basically, that's the only thing I'm gonna do with my life. And he goes, well, I have an elder brother who runs a coding boot camp in Aba. So will you be able to go and, learn programming? Do you even know what programming is? And I remembered I did programming in my 200 level. And so I said, of course, I'll try it. And initially, I was reluctant to go because I was like, what's this programming thing? But then I told a friend of mine, and a friend of mine was like, well, if you're not going, I'm going. And the week I told him, that weekend, boom, he called me on a Sunday and he was like, bro, I'm in Aba. I'm in that boot camp. We've started. Are you coming or not? And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to pack my bags and come to Aba. And that was how I moved from Owerri to Aba. And then we did that boot camp for 6 months. And in that 6 months, I learned basic programming like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, basically. Not in depth, but just enough to understand how the internet works. And then after that, proceeded to go for my National Youth Service, which was 1 year. And while I was in service, I was now thinking, okay, you studied physics. After service, you need a job. The IT sector was becoming really hot. Everybody was talking about programming, software engineering, web developer. So at night, because I stayed at the NCCF, if you do NYSC, you understand what NCCF is. It's like Nigerian Christian Campus Fellowship Program. And so I stayed in their house, and at night, when everybody is sleeping, I'm in my old computer, just basically perfecting my skills as in HTML and CSS. And one day, I was on that and also Googling for possible jobs, remote jobs I could do as, a young HTML and CSS guy looking for some side income and possibly a job in IT, something that will serve me after I leave NYC. And one of such nights, I was doing just that, and a message pops up, an ad pops up on my screen, and it was from Code University of Applied Sciences. So I clicked it. I'm like, what university is called Code like this? So I clicked the ad, and then it led me straight to the website. And then I read everything about the university, and I loved it. Why? Because their paradigm of studies was completely different from what I had come out from for the last 5 years. My 5 years in Futo was all about tests, exam, A, get A, smash B, your GP, which is fantastic. It's okay. But I didn't want to go through that. And if it was another university like that, definitely I wasn't interested because I had seen enough in Futo. I didn't want more. But then they were promising something different. They were promising curiosity-based education coupled with practical-based education. So from day one, your first semester at Code, you're already working like you're in a real startup team. So you have students who are doing product management, you have students who are doing interaction design, you have students doing software engineering. And every semester, you guys have to form a team and work on a product. And I realized that some of the products they had worked in the past went on to become fortune, like big corporations. Some of them went to YC, raised funding, and now they are big companies. And I always loved the idea of owning a tech company. So I was like, this is it. And so I went straight to applications, started. The application was the toughest. It's a bit easier now, but back then it was very tough. You had to go through 5 stages, including a coding practice session. You build a product, and then you had to present the product from ground up. Only you. If you get a help, they will know. And so I went through those 5 stages and I got admitted. And then the problem became, now that I was admitted, how do I come to Germany? Because if you had to come to Germany, you had to navigate the blocked account issue. But I guess that would be another story. But that was basically how I ended up at Code. I got the admission with Code. and landed in Germany, completed the studies, and the rest they say is history.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Samuel. I was actually enjoying you speaking. All right. So, moving on to the third question we have for you. Could you walk us through the admission process? I think you've mentioned a bit of that from applying to getting your acceptance letter. Can you just do a few touches on that?
Yeah, sure. So it starts with an essay round. So after you fill the form, but now I know it's they've reduced it from a five-stage step to about three now. So it always starts with an essay round. So you write an essay, and what they are looking out for is, do you have the kind of curiosity mindset that will make you successful at their university? So that's what they are looking out for. So they ask you a couple of questions. Why is code a perfect fit for you? Why are you a perfect fit for code? And then they ask you a couple of like about five essay questions, and you have to write with less than 500 words.
Wow.
And then after that, after responding to each of them, if they think you answered them correctly, you will come for an interview, first initial interview, which is usually remote. And then they get to meet you. This one is basically non-technical, just you and them chatting about things and about how you found out about the university, just them developing personal interest in you. And then after that round, they are going to send you a challenge, what we call a challenge, which is the one of the toughest stage of the application process. So a challenge is like someone, an academic staff member of the university or a partner company, one of the companies they partner with, will make a video for you, specifically for you, and they will pitch a problem for you. That problem, you can only solve it through one way. There is no other solution. You have to solve it through a digital solution. So you have to provide a digital solution to the problem. And that either involved you having to do a design mock-up if you're coming to study interaction design, or you do a market analysis survey if you're coming to do project management, or you do a demo, an MVP, if you're coming to do software engineering. But it has to be a digital solution. And then they pitch the problem for you. And then you have 3 weeks from the time you get that problem, you have 3 weeks to solve the problem and submit. If that is successful, they now invite you to a pitch session where you have to pitch your solution because they need to know that you are the person who solved that problem. And then if you're successful in that, they now invite you to the final round, which is what we call an admission day. Now, during the admission day, you would meet people like yourself who have applied to come to code. All of you will be in one call, and then they will split you into teams, exactly how code works. And you will have the entire day. I think it starts from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. It's a full day stuff. And then that group they separated you into, they will pitch a fresh problem to all of you. So what they want to see is how you work collaboratively when you are in a team. They have seen how you work as an individual. Now they want to see how you work as a team player. And they will watch from the background. They will literally. So what they usually do, it was after I joined that I knew that this was what they do. So they pick some academic staff members and students already in the university and add them to the admission day. So you don't even know that the person who you're working with is a staff or is a student. So at the end of the admission day, everybody who was planted would come into a meeting and they will start asking about your performance. How did he perform? Was he communicative enough? Did he understand the problem? Was he able to interact as a team player? And then after that, they will start interviewing each of you on behalf. So let's say I and you were applicants. They will call you into a meeting separately and they will ask you certain questions. One of the key questions I remember they asked was, because if you're a team player, when you meet people for the first time, you should be able to remember names. So everybody introduces themselves, and then when you come into the call, they ask you, give us the name of the first person you think we should admit if you were on the governing body. They are not asking you to describe the people you worked with, because if you've worked with them for the last 6 hours, the least you can do is remember someone's name. right? So if you're unable to remember at least one person, two persons' name, I think it's an out for you. You're done. So they are not looking at it for you. They don't take your verdict to say, okay, admit this person and they admit that person. No, they just want to see that you can remember someone's name. So it was a very psychological and very intense admission process. And those are the stages. And after that, that same day, around 6 or 8 p.m., you then get an email that either confirms that you've been admitted or rejected. So
Oh,
that's it. But right now, I think it's been shortened to 3 phases. So the essay is still there. You still write the essay. And then I
okay.
think you still get the challenge. You still get the problem. So they skipped the middle part. You still get the problem. And then straight from that problem, you go straight to the admission day. So this reduce it into 3 steps now.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. To all our attendees who wants to know about the scholarship process and all, that is that for you. I hope you followed through. Now, how was the learning environment and the academic quality compared to your expectations? Does it match up with your expectations? Was it something that you've always wanted? Was it conducive enough? Can you describe the learning environment and the quality of education?
I think I would do it I will go from the larger Germany, like the German education system, and then I'll narrow it
All
down.
right.
Code. So before I came to Germany, I already knew that modern education originated from Germany. The first printing press was a German invention. So I knew that when it comes to paper and writing, Germany was at the core of it. I also knew I studied physics, and throughout my physics, most of the inventions, oh, the Niels Bohr theory, oh, there was an invention of the atomic bomb. When you went through it, Germans were embedded in every critical stage of those developments. And I knew the German educational system was very strong. It wasn't just strong, but tuition in Germany was made free for everyone for a purpose if you were studying in a public uni. So education is like a right in Germany. It's something they take very seriously in Germany here. And so I knew that, okay, this government and their entire system is driven by research, is driven by innovation, is driven by very strong ideology for education. So that was check mark for me. And then I looked at government financing for research programs in Germany. I think they are one of the top in the world after the United States in terms of research funding and everything. But there was something critical for me. I wanted to know how much of their research eventually gets turned into a startup. And I was shocked that even most of the American startups that eventually come up, underpinning their development were German research programs that made them happen. So I knew, okay, this was fine. And then I went to code and I realized, like I already mentioned, most of the student projects that were used. So the way it works is, like I said, from day one, you join a project team, you work, you build something as a team. And then at the end of the term, they assess you. You get an A or a B based on your contribution to that project. So they assess your level of work. So if you're studying project management or product management, they call you professor seats during your assessments, and then they ask you questions about the product you guys have built. Tell us what you did, market survey, what is the psychology behind the design, the feature. They ask you very tough questions that you need to confront if you were building a real life project. Same with software engineering. They don't just give you theory. In fact, none of our professors comes to class and they start giving you theoretical. No, they don't have time for that. What they do is they pitch a problem to you to solve, and then you go around looking for the solution. In an attempt to find the solution, you learn. So they believe in practical learning through doing rather than theory, which is a sharp contrast to where I was coming from. In Futo, I think I have one of my classmates on the call Sunday. In Futo, shout out to him. In Futo, we did mostly theory. We rarely did practice. Everybody was cramming to pass tests, cramming to pass exam, which is not bad. But then I felt that most engineering courses demand practical You need to assert yourself in terms of practical alignment. And code had that too. In fact, to a fault, it was the only thing we thought about day in, day out, every day we came to class. And that ticked for me as well. Again, I looked out for community. It's one thing to have a university, but it's one thing to have a university that has a community. So what do I mean by university that has a community? The alumni of your university or the university you go to is very important. And also the relationship that university has with corporate entities around them is very important. How many of your students are working in companies? How many of their ex-students are working in companies? How many of their ex-students have companies of their own? I went on LinkedIn and I looked up these things and it was awesome. Out of every 5 code students, 2 of them either had a company of their own or at least 4 were gainfully employed. So that was a strong statistics for me. And so combining all of this, I mean, it was practice. And Berlin, who doesn't want to live in Berlin? It's one of the best cosmopolitan cities in the world. So I was like, bro, there was practically nothing stopping me from saying yes. So it was a very easy decision for me to make. And coupled with the fact that I wasn't paying. So I mean, it was free. So why not? Adaogo, I can see your question of how did I get a full ride scholarship?
Okay, Mr. Samuel, sorry to cut you. We would have a section to treat all the questions
Okay,
that they are dropping in the chat box. Thank you
okay.
so much. So, please, I will want to seize this moment to say it again to all those that are just joining us. Please kindly drop whatever comments that or whatever questions that you have. Please kindly drop it in the chat box. We have a section devoted especially for those questions. Yeah, moving forward. Yeah. Um, how was your experience with visa process? What tips would you want to give to people who wants to apply to make their whole process seamless?
Um, Patience is key. I think that's the best way to start. So unless you are coming with a scholarship, either the DAAD scholarship or a German company is funding you, I would say navigating the German embassy visa requirements and the visa process can quite be exhausting. So currently it takes anywhere between 12 months and 24 months for you to get an invitation for you to come to the German embassy. So the visa process is simple though. When you get an admission, you go to there's a German Lagos, depending on the city where you are in Lagos, the city, but I know most southeast, and southwest cities have to go to Lagos. So when you go to Lagos, when you go to their website, you basically indicate interest that you need a German visa, right? A study visa. Then they take information like your name, the purpose of your visa, what kind of visa you want to apply for, and then your passport number. Now, when they take that, that's where, as of that time, that's where you have to stop. You now have to wait between 12 months, at least 1 year. That's what they wrote on their website. You have to wait at least 1 year for a date to now be given to you, where you now come with all your documents to the embassy. But right now, they've changed it, as I hear. I hear they now, but of course, disclaimer, I'm not speaking for the German embassy. What I hear they now do is that they have a portal. So when you indicate you want to apply, they ask you to upload all your documents and then wait. So if your documents is checked and everything is okay, you now have to wait between at least 1 year for you to now get a proper invitation for you to now come for the visa interview. But if you have a scholarship, it's a lot faster. The wait is under 3 months most times. If you have a DAAD scholarship, the wait is under 2 weeks. So it's a lot faster. But if you're doing it on your own, of course, another hurdle we face as Africans coming to Germany is the blocked account issue. So unlike unlike Canada, the US, Australia, unlike those countries where I don't want to say it, but we have our ways of navigating the proof of funds round. Unlike those countries, Germany is thorough, and maybe that is why they take time. So there is this saying in the international community that if you have a German visa stamp on your passports, it practically means you can go anywhere in the world you want to go, because what other embassies basically do is when they look at your passport and they can see a German stamp, they're like, okay, this one is clean. So they don't do all of those nitty-gritty checks anymore, because they know that for you to have gotten the German visa means they have really done their background check very well on you. So they are very thorough. Every single detail is seen, is spotted. So, yeah, I think the visa process is quite tough, I would say. Put your documents in order. Um, so for instance, when I was doing my WAEC result had 3 names. My passport had 2 names. If your details are like that, they will bounce you. Germany is so obsessed with being precise in terms of documentation that it is sickening even for most of us who live here, because we call it bureaucracy. I mean, things that would just go straight, they will start looking at it. They want to make sure the date and everything, like they will keep to find even the slightest error in spelling, a letter you didn't arrange well. So before you go, you have to make sure you look at, so they have a visa document checklist. Make sure you get it and painstakingly go through each of those line items and get those documents in the format and in the way that they have described. Because if you don't, they will bounce you and you have to do it all over again. So it's quite tedious, and it's something that don't expect to rush it. So if you intend coming to Germany, I would already advise you to start now, because if you're intending to come and you're doing everything on your own, it's going to take you at least the next 1 year to finish. So yeah.
Right. Thank you very much. Yeah, the next question says that how did your degree and your university background help you in the German job market? I think you talked briefly about that. Your
Yeah.
Nigerian degree. Yeah. Okay. So, do you want to still buttress that, or you still
Yes.
want to?
Yes. While it's important to have a degree, one thing I tell my friends is it's important for you to also know how to tell your story. So when I went to telling my story and the importance of it started from when I went to the embassy. So one question I got from the embassy was, you're going to do software engineering, dude. You did physics already. What is the connection between software engineering and physics? You have to be able to explain that connection convincingly. And then when I came to Germany, and I also interviewed for a role for a junior software position, like a student software engineering position, I was also asked the same question. You did physics and now software engineering. How do they marry? You have to again tell that story. And then when I applied for a job, one of the questions, there are 2 critical questions I was asked that I knew I had gotten the job for. One was, you did physics? I said yes. The recruiter was like, okay, so what did physics teach you about the universe? So he practically left. I applied for a software engineering role, but of course my CV told him I had done physics back in Nigeria. So he started asking about the educational standard in Nigeria. Like, what is our education like? Was it solid? What did I feel about it? And then to substantiate what I had told him about the educational system in Nigeria, he then asked me a question to say, you did physics, tell me what you learned about the universe. And I'm like, well, there's practically nothing to tell you that I learned about the universe aside from the language to understand it. Physics basically gives you a language to understand the universe. So in as much as you have a degree on paper, it's very important for you to know how to tell your story in a way that fits whatever opportunity that you're about to grab. For instance, I was applying as a software engineer to an agricultural tech company that was doing regenerative agriculture, calculating carbon footprints and trying to convert it into carbon credits for companies. I knew exactly what they were doing, and I knew that physics was integral to what they were doing, even more than software engineering. So when he asked me that question, I had to tell my story in a way that reflects the ideal that, look, I am the right person to be on your engineering team because I have a physics background and I understand nature, right? And so at that point, he was like, And then he goes, close your eyes and tell me, imagine a perfect dream job. You've just graduated from uni. So I know you have all the fantasies about what the kind of job you should work in should be. Imagine and picture yourself working in that kind of job. Now tell me, what does that job look like? And I'm like, aha, this one is a trap. This one is a big trap, right? You want me to say something that doesn't look like your company, but I caught you. And then I went straight to the mission and value statement of the company. And I'm like, look, I don't know what the company is actually doing right now, but from the mindset I have, I just know that I want to work in a company that is confronting real global challenge at a global scale. And then he goes, whoa, dude, you're very ambitious. And I'm like, yeah, that's what my friends say. They say I'm very ambitious. And that's how I got the job, right? So in as much as I tell people, every single experience you have as a young person, especially if you are coming from Africa, if you come from Africa, you're already two goals down. That's the truth. Like in my office, there is no sense of discrimination. In my mindset, I'm always like, when I write a line of code, I have to make sure it is clean, it is functional, it is secure, and it's the best way for solving that problem as much as possible. Why? Because when they read it, your name is on it, and they're like, oh, he's Nigerian. Okay, he's a good software engineer. It says well about the continent of Africa. It says well about it. So when you are an African on the international space, there is a lot of expectation from you. You are already playing from a point of deficiency. So everything you do, you have to bring your A game to it. And I always tell people, no experience in your past is too small. It's just a question of how you tell the story, right? It's a question of presentation. How do you tell that story of that small grammar school you went to? How do you tell that story of that C you got in English or that D you got in mathematics? How do you generally tell your story? That's the most important thing. If you tell it well and you tell it convincingly, trust me, you get anything you want, even when other people are crying. That's the truth. You have to basically become a master salesman, and the first version the first product you have to sell is yourself, right? So that's basically it, how it worked for me. And of course, I was coming from code. So everybody was like, code, that uni with a lot of students launching startups. So they were like, you had the product mindset already. And of course, software engineering, they gave me a live coding task and I smashed it. So they were like, you are good technically, you're good product-wise. Now let's test what your ambition looks like. And that was why I had that interview and all those questions around concepts of physics and software engineering. But it's important. And also, I see a lot of people who want to go into science and tech. Maybe something we'll probably talk about later, but I see a lot of people who want to go into science and tech and they do it from a point of pride and ego. I think it's a very wrong step. One thing you need to, especially in the age of AI, companies are not prioritizing your skills anymore. Companies are prioritizing your human connection, your ability to connect, your ability to relate, your ability to resolve conflicts. That's what companies are looking for. Because if you're thinking of technical expertise, the best programmer in the world suffers in the hands of an AI, right? You have to have your technical fundamentals solid, but you need to back it up with human level intelligence as well. Your human relationship, the way you connect with people is also very much important. And I think we need to start prioritizing that also as a continent, you know.
Thank you very much Mr. Samuel. Um, right. How did you secure accommodation in Germany? And was it before or after your arrival?
It was after my arrival. So accommodate one of the notorious things Germany is known for is accommodation hoarders. But of course, it depends on the city where you're going to. In Berlin, it's nearly impossible to find an apartment long term, even with your money, because landlords are skeptical of giving houses to new people, like people who don't have history in the country. It's very rare for them to give you housing. And don't expect to find a big flat where only you will live the way we have in Nigeria. Nigeria, I tell people that Nigeria is paradise, but we just do not appreciate it until you leave Nigeria and come to the West. Yeah, you share a flat with 5 people, 4 people, 6 people, you know, and it's expensive too. So when I came, I stayed in a hotel for about 4 days. And again, this is what I say. You have to look at the community of the school where you're coming to. So Code had a very good community. Everybody wanted to help. So when I came, the first thing I did was I went to the school Slack community channel and I posted a picture. I was like, hey, finally I've arrived Germany. And now I need help securing an accommodation. Again, human connection, how you relate with people. I was already, because that was COVID era, so traveling was banned. So I started studying remotely in Nigeria. I did my 1 year of studies remotely in Nigeria. And while studying, I had made connections. I had connected with people online. You know, we studied together, we did projects together, we did meetings together, and there was a connection. So when I finally arrived, I was like, hey guys, I'm finally in Berlin. Oh, I beg, I no get place to sleep or make una help. And then I posted that message, and after 1 hour, and practically the way it happened was I posted it, and after 1 minute, someone replied and said, hey, finally good to have you, bro. I don't have an apartment to give you, but look, I have a couch. I have a couch in my room and you could crash there for as long as you want. And then someone again writes, oh, same here. Like my flatmates traveled and their rooms are free. You could come here, stay here for a while. Someone again writes, oh, if you need a place to keep your this thing, you can put it in my house. Someone again, and then somebody writes, look, bro,
Wow.
I have a small room in my flat that somebody just moved out from. Nobody's staying. It's very small. But if you think you can manage it, please come around. And that was how 4 days later, and I'm still living there. I mean, this is the apartment I'm still living 4 years after. So I came here and I'm like, bro, I don't mind how the room is. It's so small, but bro, I provided it gives me a place to put my head and sleep, and I register my address and the government knows I've come in and I have an authentic address. That's okay. So I took it, mailed the landlord, and he gave me reference as someone who live in here already, gave me reference. And since then, I've moved out of this, someone moved out of a bigger space and I changed my room, came to the bigger space. And gradually we are moving. One day I'll move to a flat or something like that. But literally that's how it's been going. That's how I got my flat and the place I'm staying in right now. So it's tedious. I've been trying to, since I graduated and got a job, I've been trying to get like a self-con, what we call a self-con in Nigeria, like a proper flat, 2 bedroom flat accommodation. And I've been looking for the last 6 months, right?
Wow.
Looking for the last 6 months and no luck. So that's to tell you how with even your money, your job and your money and your credibility and everything, it is still hard. It's
Thank
tough.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, what was your biggest cultural adjustment you had to make when moving to
Yeah.
Germany?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll give you two that are very funny. So my first week here, I went to the mall to buy water. I, Nigeria, you just want water, right? So you walk into the store, water is water. But here, funny thing is, they have variation of everything. There is 100 types of water. I can bet there are 100 different types of water. So I went to the store. I didn't know how to speak German. Luckily, Berlin speaks English. So I walk into the store and I'm like, look, I'm looking for water. And they're like, okay, go there, water. And then I go there, of course, everything is written water, and I pick water. Thinking of taking water, got home and opened it, and the water did tss. I was like, what is this? And it's mineral water, the version of water that they have. Mineral water, they have various even in bread, they have over 1,000 variations of bread. They have 1,000 variations of banana. They have 1,000 variations of pear. Everything has crazy variations. So I had to start learning how to, okay, this one is the real water, natural water. This one is bio banana. So this is like the banana I take in Nigeria, bio. This is the one I want. So that mental shift of having to go from everything being what you see it as to, you have to look well. It might be variation of one other version. It was pretty difficult. And then also another thing is the way life is simple here. Nobody dresses to impress you. Nobody disturbs anybody. I can literally be in my room for 15 years. My flatmates will not know what is happening to me. Nobody. In Nigeria, when I was in Futo, if I'm cooking beans at 1 a.m. and my Maggi finish on my salt, I will run to my guy, have fun, I beg, give me that your Maggi, make I use cook. Here, you will not do it. If it's finished, it's finished. You don't have it, you don't have it. If you don't have money, you can't call, but I beg, give me that €5, make you no go try am. Because everybody is so independent and protected by law that you live in seclusion. It's a disadvantage for them. It's a disadvantage for the Western world. Another thing is time. They are obsessed with keeping to time. In fact, if you have a meeting with a German person and you show up 1 minute after, it's already a red flag. They will start looking at you somehow. Are you sure this one is serious? Even when you're serious. And everything here is synchronized to work with your watch. So for instance, if I wake up now and I say, I want to go to the shop and come back by 1 p.m., you will find a bus. Their bus is scheduled to run every 10 minutes, same as the trains. So if you look at your Google map and it says the bus is coming in 10 minutes, if you get to that station 1 minute after that 10 minutes, that bus has gone and it will not stop. It doesn't wait for anybody. Whether it's full or not, it doesn't care. So,
Wow.
and it runs on schedule. If it tells you, I'm leaving by 9, I'm arriving at 9:30, bro, you can bet your life on it. 9 to 9:30, 9:30 to get you to your destination at 9:30. Same as the trains. Everything is synchronized to run by time. Why? Because their economy is per hour driven. So they pay per hour. And so every minute spent not doing your job is a problem. So time is integrated heavily into how the society, of course, the trains, and they have issues most times and they delay, but the concept is that time is embedded into their infrastructure, social fabric, So those are some of the cultural changes I had to do when I came. Because I was used to, hey boy, have fun, I beg. You shelling me that your rice, small, make I chow. Yeah, go try them. Except if you built good connection with the person, but you wouldn't try.
All right. Thank you very much. So, for those of us considering relocating to Germany, please don't go and be doing African time. All right. So, what advice would you give to students considering studying in Germany, whether in public or private institutions? Advice related to academics, financial advice, or social advice.
Number one is start planning on time. Like I said, the process is long. It takes time. It's tedious. Don't think it's something you wake up in the morning and 1 week later you have a visa, except you get a scholarship. So number one is prepare, start on time, look out for scholarships. There is a DAAD website you can look out. Apply for as much as you can. Start on time, put your documents in order. There are so many ways to come to Germany. It's not just through studies. You can apply to jobs. You can come and do what is called an Ausbildung technical program. And also learn the language if you can. If you're not coming to big cities like Berlin, where English is like a thing, please start learning. I've been here 4 years. I'm still struggling because I don't know the language in most things. So learn the language. It helps you get a job faster, right? It helps you get a job faster. And especially like it just makes you integrate better into the society if you know the language. So you can start early, start using YouTube courses, start learning the German language, get Duolingo app. I'm not doing promotion for them, but I used them a couple of times. They were good. At least get the introductory concept of A1 level German language and start on time. Start getting your documents intact on time. Like Nigeria can also frustrate you. Very. So start getting, go to the website. If you know you want to apply student visa, go to the German website and download their checklist. Wake up every morning and tick out the one you have. The one you don't have, start early to start looking for it. Document your accomplishments. This is very important. If you're doing product design, keep a portfolio for the products you've done, the work you've done. If you've worked in a team, write it down, write how you contributed to that team. They love things like this, right? And again, it helps you tell your story better, right? Anything you've done, no matter how insignificant you think it is, you helped a community raise funding, is a big deal. Write it down. You taught in a secondary school, you helped students prepare for WAEC, is a big deal. Write it down. You did voluntary service at a company and helped them build a website. Write it down. Is a piece to telling your story. So start on time. I usually say anything rushed goes bad. Anything you rush, it goes bad. Even the pleasure part of life, if you rush it, it goes bad. So you want to come to Germany, just zero your mind that it's going to be a long process. Start on time and just do it patiently. I mean, patiently. Nigeria is a beautiful, I don't know why all of us wants to run away, but Nigeria is a beautiful country to just want to wake up in the morning and vanish from. So take your time, start on time, do your thing gently and gradually.
Thank you very much. So, I have these questions. I think you've touched them. So, I'm going to combine about three questions together in the interest of time. You said, okay, so this question goes thus. Did you study on scholarship? Yes, you've established that part. Or did you found your tuition yourself? So, that is rolled out. So, now I would want to coin something from this now. So, for those that are not going on scholarships, what advice would you give them in terms of financial preparation?
Yes. So maybe I didn't explain the scholarship terms properly. What I call this, let me tell you how it worked in my case. So Code, as at the time I joined, Code had partners. So like I said, I was doing my 1 year. As at the time I got Code admission, if not for COVID, I would have lost it. I wouldn't be able to come. The reason was because if you got the admission, it had to be an in-person admission day. So if they were inviting you to the final round, you had to travel from wherever you were and come to Germany for the admission day. But COVID happened around that time, so traveling was banned. And Code now said, even if COVID prevents every other university from functioning, it shouldn't prevent us because we are a digital first university. So they started online studies, and that opened the way for all of us, people like me who got admitted in faraway countries, to start studying already. So I started already from Nigeria. And then during my first year, this company shows up one day and they're like, look, we're the new partners they are the biggest media company in Europe. They are like what CNN is in America or Al Jazeera is to the Middle East. They are to Europe. So they are the owners of, I don't know if they're the owners of Business Insider, the company I'm talking about. They are called Axel Springer. They are the owners of Business Insider. They are the owners of a lot of companies, So they come and they're like, look, we're partnering with Code. We have some challenges in our engineering team, and we have some problem to pitch to you students so that you can help us solve it. And they pitched a nice problem. And I was like, okay, I would like to be part of the team that solves or works on this problem. Remember, we're all working remotely. So we all applied. I didn't expect them to take me, to be honest, because everyone was in Germany. Why would anybody think of me? But they did. They called me for the interview, and all the stories, like again, I told my story. And then they took me, and we were about 13. They recruited 13 students in total. And we worked remotely on the project. I suffered, I would say, back in Nigeria because I had to deal with power. Electricity was an issue. Internet was an issue. I was using an old computer. So every day I would travel 40 minutes by bus from my parents' house. I would go 40 minutes into Owerri because I was staying in Imo then. I would go 40 minutes into Owerri and stay the entire day. I would beg people in their shops. I would be like, I beg, now make I just stay here, do the. And people were thinking I was doing Yahoo then. So there was this man. The last time I came, I went to give him wine because I would come to his office. He will make a space at the edge of his office for me and say, you can stay there and do what you're doing. And I'll take all my calls with all the noise and everything. And then we finished that project. And the day they were celebrating, the company was like, oh, okay, we want to invite all of you who worked on this to our company. We have a gift for everybody. And then they invited everybody. 12 of the people they invited were all in Germany. So they showed up physically. And then they were like, Sam, where are you? I'm like, oh, I'm still in Nigeria. They're like, why? You're supposed to be here. I'm like, yeah, COVID. And even if COVID wasn't happening, I didn't have money to pay for the blocked account. The woman was like, okay. And then after the event, she calls me on a call and she's like, so you said you don't have money for blocked. I said, yeah. I mean, that's it. And she said, so if we give you a scholarship or a contract, does that make your visa process easier? I'm like, yeah, that significantly makes a lot of things easier. And boom, that was it. So they wrote me a letter confirming a scholarship with a pay for 1,400 euros every month. And that significantly covered whatever the embassy was asking for. The embassy as at then was asking for 850 euros monthly. But then here was my salary, almost double of it, which was 1,400 euros as a student. It was the highest a student could ever earn in Germany. So I took the letter to the embassy and it was straightforward. They were like, okay, boom. And the next day, and they started paying me from Nigeria, actually. They started paying my monthly. In fact, the first salary I got, imagine my poor mother, we were struggling to survive. And they didn't pay me for 3 months in a row after we signed the deal. And one day they were talking about Christmas. So Sam, I'm traveling to Italy. I'm going to the US for 1 week. And then the lady was like, Sam, how are you spending your Christmas in Nigeria? And I'm like, Mama, I know under they spend I go do my. She said, why? I said, well, I was hoping I could get my salary. And she said, wait, you've not been paid? I was like, yeah, I mean, I've not gotten paid for 3 months now. The woman sparked. Like, she literally went nuts on the meeting. And she was like, you know what? We're done with this meeting. And then she calls the accounting office and their legal team. And then they had me on a call and they were like, look, we are so sorry. We didn't explain everything to you. You were supposed to have sent us an invoice because without the invoice, we can't pay you because we didn't know you were not in Germany. They apologized like mad. I was like, no, look at me now, Nigerian boy, now there. No, don't worry about it. And then I sent the invoice for 3 months. So imagine 1,004, 1,004, 1,004 times three combined. And then they paid one January afternoon like that while I was cutting my hair. I can remember the reaction that day. I was bobbing my hair and the alert came. And EcoBank automatically converted it to Naira. So you could imagine over 4,200 euros came in at once in Naira. And I picked up my small Nokia touch phone and opened it. And I saw the money and I dropped my phone and I looked at the Baba to make sure he didn't see what I saw. And then I had to tell him, look, dude, hold on. He had already started cutting my hair. I was like, no, hold on, I'm coming back. And then I didn't even mind that my hair was uncut. And then I stepped out and then I thought EcoBank made that they must have made a mistake. And then I looked at the thing, see zero everywhere. I was like, this thing. And I said, okay, I'm coming. I went to my ATM, went to the POS people. I was like, give me one, because I didn't have money. I had about 600 euros, 600 naira left in my account. But when that money came, I was like, let me I test, maybe not mistake. So I told the girl to bring out 1,000 naira. The girl point gave me 1,000 naira came out. I said, money did this thing. And I said, do 10,000. She did 10,000 came out. I was like, oh yeah, do 50. She did 50, 50 came out. That was when I went home. I told my mother, hey, what soup again did you say you were looking for money to borrow to cook soup? My mother said then she was looking for 1,005 to, I kept 50K on the table. My mother screamed. She said, hey, they have joined Yahoo people. That, hey, that her only son has joined. That is this computer I've been pressing. I said, no. Maybe I told you I've been working for these white people and they just paid. My mother says it's a lie. That she wants to talk to my boss. That she wants to call my. We now put my boss on the. That was when my mother settled. And that was how our life completely changed. Because with that money, I was able to get 2 buses on the road, started a transport company. And since then, life has been transformational. Like if you go to my house and you say anything bad about Germans, my mother will cook you for lunch. If you go to my house near my mother and you say Germans are bad, my mother will cook you for lunch practically. But that was my story. Yeah. So I would say my case was, and again, it's important I mention that the agreement, that was how I came to Germany, but the scholarship had a clause. The clause was that after graduation, and I am able to get a job with the same company, then I would work for them for a maximum of 2 years. And then after that 2 years, they will pay off my tuition. So Code is actually a private university and their tuition is like 38,000 euros, right? Yeah. So that was the agreement. But again, Code has, they call it the pay later model. So if you don't have money, you can sign up for the pay later model. What does the pay later model say? It's like a scholarship. But what it says is that they would allow you to study and you can only start paying back tuition after you have graduated and found a job. So they have that arrangement and they created it mostly to help people coming from underprivileged societies to be able to study at Code. But yeah, so it's important I make that clarification for people looking for scholarships.
Right. Thank you very much for that. Right. You've mentioned briefly your challenges and how you faced them as an international student.
Yeah.
Do you still have anything to say in respect to that?
I would say, I mean, for someone like me, I'm ambitious, I'm people oriented. So when I meet a person for the first time, I'm not looking to see your shiny things or I'm not impressed by outlook. I like to see you as a person, where you're coming from, what's your story, right? And I connect to that story. And I try to build relationships with people. I keep an open mind. Somebody who is very open-minded. It's not like I don't have boundaries, but I have human beings are the most important things on this planet. If you don't have a heartbeat for human beings, you might as well become a machine or a stone, right? So I see people go, oh, I want to be hard, tough guy. I want to be, dude, you can't go to the stone world if you want to be hard. My point is, whether you see yourself in Germany, Nigeria, look, Europe is no different from Nigeria. America, I went to Florida. America is no different from Nigeria. Germany is no different from Nigeria. The only thing that is different is the system and the fact that rule of law is respected. That's the only difference. They still stand in this country. There's a place you go, mosquito will finish you in this country. There is still crime in this country, right? But you cannot compare the system. If you work hard, you're sure that it will pay off, right? I came here 4 years, nearly 4 years ago. Like my life is completely changed. I also have friends in Nigeria who are doing well. So it's a question of you as an individual and how you relate with people. Bro, life is short. We're all just trying to figure things out. There is no need to start forming boss or start forming, oh, you know who I be. That mentality puts you on the ground pretty fast. And these Europeans are simplistic in life. Like, bro, you literally walk the streets of Berlin and you walk past a billionaire in euros and they look like a motor packed out because their clothes is big, their slippers, their hair is unkempt. They don't care. These guys just want to live simple life. Do you have what to eat? Do you have shelter over your head? If that's it, bro, life is so learn your fundamentals very well. Don't go for shiny stuff. Because I see my friends, AI, everybody's jumping on AI. Oh, blockchain, everybody's jumping on blockchain. Tomorrow is artificial. Oh, we're everywhere. Bro, the fundamentals. Programming language is programming language. Whether you're doing C Sharp or JavaScript or Python or blah, blah, all of them have if statements. All of them have variables. All of them have computational numbers. It's all the same thing. So keep your fundamentals close. Your maths, your English, your physics. And I hear people say, oh, IT is inventing. If you're doing law, if you're if you want to go into nursing, law, legal profession, like right now, there's even a profession I started a startup and I've been looking for someone who is doing bookkeeping. And I've been asking, is there anybody who studied bookkeeping that nobody? Everybody is after product design, interaction design, engineering. Okay, bro, there are little things. Just find what you like to do and become good at it. That's what I tell people. Like me now, I did physics. From physics, I went to software engineering. Right now, the thing that is fascinating me is not even AI. I'm a software engineer and I work every day. So, but AI is not what is fascinating me. It's fascinating me, yes. But the thing that now obsesses me, like the thing that my mind is obsessed with these days, are two things: small, medium scale enterprises and how they survive, and economics. So business and accounting and economics. Those are the things that I wake up every day and I'm like, how do I become an accountant? No. Okay, economics. How does economics basically work? Right? These are the core fundamental things that Africa needs. Of course, now I'm being biased. I'm talking from a perspective of someone who wants to grow Africa, but largely human skills, basic human skills, the ability to start a business and scale it, your ability to know numbers are going to be the big things of the future. I can tell you for free. Your ability to know systems, understand numbers, do basic accounting, inflow, outflow, you summarize, you know where your money is going. That thing is going to be billions of dollars in the next years to come, because as AI rises, what happens is that the cost of knowledge decreases. Now I'm talking as an economist, which you can tell I've been studying economics. Whenever the cost of producing something goes significantly low, the price for that thing goes low with it, right? Now, today, to build a website, I tell an AI what I want, and brrr, I have my website. How much do you think companies are going to be willing to pay a web designer tomorrow if they realize and it becomes known that they can just describe what they want and it's done? They'll little to nothing. So you discover that the prices for people that web design, it will significantly start to drop. And then if that is it, if that is the result of the modern era, what happens next? What should you be doing as an individual? You should be going for alternate courses that complement that in a way that gives you more bargaining power. And that's economics. That's law. That's basically things that power medium-scale enterprises and businesses. Software design, software engineering, they are still going to be very significant, yes. But the population of people that would earn significant salary from it will reduce. It's like saying you want to become an NBA superstar and you want to earn like LeBron James. Bro, the chances for that happening for you is 0.00001%, right? It's not because you're not a fantastic basketballer, but it's just the fact that, look, the economics of that sector is hinged against you. So as young people in Africa, I always advise, get into spaces that exposes your opportunities and gives you more leverage. Don't interact with people, bro. Like, people are your biggest assets in an AI world. People are your biggest assets. Leverage on it. And I'm not saying now because people are, you not accept anything or anything goes. No, that's not what I'm saying. But you know someone who is an asset when you see one. Your mind will tell you that, I need to, this person. And I'm not saying become a pick me and start become my friend. No, no, no. But you know, your mind would instruct you. Your instincts would direct you. Yeah. It's a tough, I don't know, but we're all in it together, which is part of why I'm doing what I'm doing with working with Nigerians in the diaspora who are trying to start companies. I'm telling them, look, Africa needs help. Our people in Nigeria need help. The only way you can help, for instance, Nigerians are looking for a way to come to Germany and they need blocked accounts. But if you give them jobs, it covers for that blocked account. If we as Nigerians in diaspora can start companies, we can make that really, really easy. We employ Nigerians in Nigeria. They use that employment to come abroad. It's easy. Well, it's a level of organization structure which we are working on, though. We're working on it.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Samuel. So, I think you have also mentioned, maybe in part now or wholly, what steps you took during or after your studies to secure a job, right? Do you want to dwell on that, or you want us to move to the next question?
Your CV, your CV
Okay.
is very important. I can't overemphasize your CV. And I think one giveaway point I will give to when you make your CV is there's this 8 years. I know people introduce themselves as CV experts. So I'm not an expert in CV making. So maybe you could contact those people that introduce themselves as experts in CV. But I think your CV plays a critical point in getting a job in Europe. And you have to always put your CV in a way that fits into the role you're applying for. And as much as possible, I didn't know about this until I joined the company, and then I was sitting in a recruitment meeting where we were trying to recruit somebody else in our company. And the people who made that decision were like, it's easier for me to look at a CV when I know that it came with a cover letter. So you see some job applications and they say cover letter optional. And then you just, make I just put the CV, leave am. For most companies, that stuff increases your chances by 50% that you get invited for the next round if you add a cover letter. So these are tips, but of course, nothing is, everybody has tips, but of course, it works for some, it doesn't work for others. So you just have to, one thing I would say is, bro, don't panic. Don't panic. This life, no panic, Jerry. Once you know what you want to do, and you are sure in your mind that you're giving it your all, brother, don't panic. Easy. Take your time to pay off. No, put yourself under unnecessary pressure. I see most people, they are pressuring themselves. Bro, calm down. Just take a deep breath and do your thing. That's how I live my life. I'm not here to impress anybody. If I chop about today, I'm okay. The tomorrow will worry about itself. I'm not just be free. Take life easy. Don't let the pressure of Nigeria put you down. Life happens in stages. It takes time. Anything good takes time. Don't rush it. Don't rush it.
Thank you so much for that advice. So you've heard it from me that do not rush, take time, take a step at a time. Um, how how do you build professional and social network that supported your career growth?
Um, I did a lot of thinking. And of course, I already mentioned that code community was a superpower. So we had students who were already running their own companies. We had professors who were embedded into big. In fact, I had a professor that, Adam Rowe, he had worked at CERN Labs in Switzerland. He was a physics professor before he joined code. So we connected because I also studied physics. Surprisingly, the guy the CTO of the company that recruited me, he also did physics, but he's South African. He did physics. So during the interview was again pretty easy. So again, I will emphasize, know how to tell your story. Don't look desperate, right? See, except it is matter of your health. Your health is involved. The Bible says, do not worry about tomorrow. Don't don't let them sense that you are desperate. And that's what I tell people that go for visa interviews. See, if you go for a visa interview and the instant the guy interviewing you notices that you are desperate to leave, it's a red flag. They reject you. For instance, when I went, he goes, why do you want to leave Nigeria? Are you sure you're coming back? I said, dude, I love my country. One, let's get that straight. One is I love this country. He said, so why are you leaving? I said, well, you've seen what I'm going to study, software engineering. The school I graduated from, we just started software engineering this year. We didn't have it as a program, and we are the leading technology university in Nigeria. So you could see that there is a low opportunity for me to even gain that skill. That's why I'm leaving. And I told him that, look, this is my country and my family is here. I have a mother who is here, and I love my mother so much. I would give up anything to be with my mother. Secondly, I have a company. I already started a small business, and I'm going to just learn and get everything and just come back. So he's like, he goes, um, so he goes, are you sure you're going to come back after study? I said, bro, the day I finish studies and there is no job, I'll move my bag and I'll come back. And he could see I meant it. I wasn't desperate. In fact, I got my visa, left NYSC camp and came home. My visa was on my passport, and I still stayed in Nigeria for another 2 months. My father basically had to threaten me one day, and he was like, look, young man, you have a visa, right? I said, yes. He said, this Saturday, if you don't pack your things and leave my house, I'll call the police on you. Because even after I got my visa, bro, to leave was hard. It was hard. I woke up every morning and I looked at my mom and I wondered, bro, how are they going to do it? You're going and nobody knows when you're coming. And I hear a lot of young people, and they're like, if I leave Nigeria, my leg will never come back to this. Bro, it's a lie. You will come back. I'm telling you for a fact. You will miss that country and you will come home. You will miss it. And then my father was like, if I see you in this house next week, Saturday, I'll call the police on you. And then that Saturday, I packed my bags and left. So don't be desperate. I see everybody, jackpot is the thing. Everybody wants to run. Bro, bro, don't be dead. If it comes, let it come, but don't be desperate for it. If you're not desperate, it will happen, even in a shorter time than if you're desperate for it. That's what I was saying.
Thank you very much. One last question. Um, Looking back, is there anything you would have done differently to make your transition from student to employee smoother? Is there any step that you would have taken years back
Yes,
that would have made your journey smoother?
I would have worried less. So when I finished studies, the depression I started having was if I would let me describe, it's a big depression because I was earning 1,400 euros as a working student. And since I had graduated, my working student position had ended. So how will I survive in this country? I don't have mother. My father is not here. I don't know anybody in this country. And I didn't have money. I had just graduated. So I got into a state of serious pressure that I lost weight. I wasn't sleeping at night. I wasn't feeding well. And that was because the contract with Axel Springer had ended. They were no longer paying. In fact, the last salary they paid was it February? I earned my last salary in February, and after that, I was left on my own. So you could see survival mode setting. And that's why I say do not rush to travel. Make your plans. If I had my way, I would have tried to get a job in Nigeria first, right? So see what I would have done differently. I would have finished school in Nigeria, completed my NYSC, gotten a job, tried to secure an employment with a company in Nigeria. Then, with the money, with the Naira money I was getting, I'll be saving. And then when I'm leaving, I will negotiate with the company I work for and be like, look, can I get remote, please? So that when I come here, I'll be earning in Naira and it will be going into my Naira bank account and life will be going on here. So that if I get into a position here where I'm cash strapped, I can exchange the Naira I have for money to survive here. Because bro, if your resources finish here, that's where you will know that there is no place like your father and your mother's house. So I would have kept that job in Nigeria, had a little bit of savings, tried to get experience in Nigeria, then move. But I didn't get a job in Nigeria. I never worked in Nigeria. Everything I did in Nigeria was my own startup, you know. And so when that time came, when the student contract ended, I was in a state of, bro, it was hard. It was bad. My friends would call from Nigeria and they were like, don't worry. I said, you're saying don't worry because you know you have a pot of egusi soup that you've warmed that is waiting for you. Right now, bro, I say I don't have anything and I don't know what to do. Remember, you can't go to anybody. So what I did with the last payment was I refused to pay my landlord. And God bless my landlord, whoever he is. I've never seen him. Since I came to this country and I've been living here, I've never seen my landlord. The only thing that happens is that every month he collects his money. It's automatic. And that's how the system here works. If you don't pay, you get a court letter. Once the court letter comes, you still don't pay, you get an eviction notice and you live on the street. So there are still homeless people in this country. There are people living on the streets. You go to Canada, there are people living on the street. You go to the US, it's worse. So that month, I didn't pay my landlord because food wasn't, I like food. If I have food, 60 to 70% of my problem, in fact, if I have food, 90% of my problem is solved. So I took the money. I was like, I'm not going to pay this man. Oh. He wrote me a letter. I didn't answer him. So I owed him that month. And then luckily for me, I found a job in March. So I owed him February and March. And Oga did not complain. And then when I got paid in March, I now paid him the last 2 months I was owing him. The question I'm going to ask to you if you're listening is, what do you think would have happened to me if I didn't get that job in March? Like, move yourself from where you're sitting now and put yourself in my position. You don't have mother, Your father is not here. Even if you scream, they don't have money where they are. You don't have anybody, and your money runs out. Your landlord evicts you. What would you do? My saving grace was that the job showed up just at the nick of time. And that's why I keep telling people, maybe I'm so lucky. I came to Germany, I didn't spend a dime. The scholarship I came with, it's not traditional scholarship that people know about, but okay, I started shark came. They paid me money that right from Nigeria, I was already earning big money. Okay. Now I'm in Germany, finished school. I didn't pay tuition. I didn't job finished. I was panicking. Boom, job came. I started working. I'm not, and it's not even as if I'm a great software engineer like that. I'm not, so that's why my life is I don't used to disturb myself. I don't stress. If it will work, Oga, it will work. If it will not work, kill yourself and put yourself in the ground. The world will move on. So I think one thing I would have done differently is I would have planned better to leave Nigeria. I got consumed by, now I'm saying I would have, but of course I'm doing it from a point of comfort, like you now have a job, you're doing well. Yeah. But what if, yeah? What if it had turned out alternatively? What if, just what if? There's nothing I did not think of that period. I said, should I go and start working inside a restaurant and asking them to wash plates? Guy, if it would pay, let me just do it. And I was willing to do it. I even went on Amazon. I heard people saying warehouse job gives money. I applied. They said I needed permits to be taken to be doing warehouse job. I was practically panicking, right? And I started applying to jobs early before I graduated. I started applying to jobs in October. Rejection, left, right, and center. You don't know the language. We're sorry. You don't know the language. And then one day I was like, is there something missing on my CV? And I think what I did was I read a news article from a guy who was working at Google. He had been fired from Google and he needed a new job and he couldn't find a job anywhere, even though he was ex-Google. And then he found with Amazon with one CV, like, so he shared the template of the CV and I took that template and I went to practically start redoing my CV line by line. And then when I finished, I found this job offer one night and I put the job offer on one monitor, still on my laptop, and I practically took the job requirement and rewrote that's why I said, write down the things you have accomplished in your life because you will need it. That was when I now took that jotter, put the job requirement, and now took time and made up my, and immediately I applied. 1 week later, clean code. I had my first interview, had my coding round, had my technical interview, had behavioral interview, and on the 10th of March, I resumed work full time. So imagine if it didn't work. So it's traveling. Jackpot is easy to say jackpot in Nigeria. Do you know how many people are stranded abroad? A lot. A lot of Africans are stranded. And the funny thing is, you get stranded and you can't go home because of the quote and unquote people would. I saw a tweet recently from Instablog. A girl came back after 3 years abroad, and Nigerians were literally bashing her for coming back and starting life all over again. And I'm like, why are we like this? So you get that pressure of jackpot, 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 bro. Don't rush. Take your time. Make your plans. Put things in order so that when you eventually jackpot and it doesn't work out, you have a fallback. So I think that would be something I would have done differently if I was to do all of this.
Yeah,
Yes, I was very lucky. That was what I was saying.
Thank you very much. Medun, please, can you put your mic on mute, please? Thank you very much, Mr. Samuel. So, Nima, over to you. Nima, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, over to you, Miss section.
Thank you so much for the wonderful section, Mr. Samuel. I'm sure everyone has learned one or two things. So let's quickly go through the questions that we've been asked during the section. So from Ada Ugo, she asked, she said, Mr. Samuel, okay, okay, she said, Mr. Samuel, how did you get a full ride scholarship?
I think I already explained that, right? So it was basically the company writing me the letter stating how much I was going to be paid monthly in salary. And then with that, it means, so the German embassy doesn't really need your money. So when you go to apply for a student visa, they are going to ask you to show a proof of fund. The real name is proof of fund. What that proof of fund is to make sure that when you arrive Germany, you're not going to be a burden to the government. You're not going to be a burden to anybody. So what they do is they calculate, and again, that's what I said, the country is so organized. They calculate how much an average person will need to survive in the country every month, including your house rent and everything. And so it gives them a certain amount. The money has been increasing, of course, due to inflation. When I came, it was around 890 euros. That was what you needed to live per month in Germany. So what they will do is they will demand that you show them a blocked account that has 890 euros times 12. So as at then, when I came, it was around 10,000 euros. You had to show that you had like 10,000 euros in a German blocked bank account. Now, why is it called a blocked bank account? Because once you wire that money into that account, they block it. You cannot withdraw from it again until you are in Germany, except they reject your visa. Then you have to send the bank or whoever you blocked it with, you have to send them the evidence that the embassy has rejected you, and then they will unblock it and then they'll send it back to you. But once you put that money, the idea is that they will block it. Now, when you arrive Germany, they would open it for you, but you can't take all the money at once. That is why I tell people, don't go and collect loan and be hoping that you will collect loan and put in your blocked account. And when you come to Germany, you send back all the money. It will take you at least another 12 months after you come to Germany for you to send back all the money. Because what they do is they will be releasing that amount they have calculated that is what you need to survive every month. So every month you are allowed to withdraw maximum of that amount. You get? So when I was coming, they just needed an evidence that I had enough money to survive for 1 year. And if you don't have the money, so as at then it was around 15 million, but now the blocked account is now 13,000 euros, which is around 21 million because of inflation, of course. So you had, if you don't have the money, you needed to show a scholarship letter. So you had to show that you have a scholarship from a German recognized institution. So the popular one is DAAD. If you have a DAAD scholarship, the embassy does not even bother. They just start. That's why it's fast. If you give them a blocked account, they have to verify that the money is there, that everything is in order before they verify, before they approve. The third option is for you to get what is called a sponsorship letter. So you need to find somebody who lives in Germany, who has been working in Germany, for them to write what is called a sponsorship letter for you. That is a letter stating that they will be responsible for your upkeep when you arrive Germany. They will need to send you that letter. So with any one of these three would be your proof of income or proof of finance that you can take care of yourself when you come to Germany. Without it, your visa is as sure as getting a no. They will turn it down because they don't want you to come here and you live on the streets. They don't want you to come here and you become a burden for anybody, you know.
All right, thank you so much, sir. So from Victor, he said, can someone who has no programming knowledge apply?
To code, yes, you can. I mean, IT is broad. IT is not just coding. You can apply to be a product manager. You can do interaction design. Those are the three core courses we do at Code: software engineering, interaction design, product management, one of them. So you can decide to do product management. You don't need code. You don't need so much coding knowledge for product management. You can decide to do interaction design, but of course that one is you have to know knowledge of Figma and all those kind of things and show that you can do it. But zero coding knowledge, of course, you can. When I applied, or waiting I studied for code. I didn't know anything. It was HTML and CSS I was flexing with. So yeah.
All right, thank you, sir. So from Damola, she asks, as someone who has a background in law, what chance do they have to study in Germany?
Hey, big one. So law is, this question is two ways. I have a friend who got a scholarship with DAD and she's doing corporate law. I would say your best shot if you have a background in law is to try DAAD. Try applying through DAAD scholarship. If you're not doing that, your best shot again is to do code. Come to code, but of course you need money for the blocked account. Yeah, it's management courses, startup law. You have a lot of, you can even go into tech to digitize legal processes because so as a founder myself, one thing I try to do, one thing I know how VCs give money is what is called founder market fits. So someone with a law background now can decide that, okay, what is currently happening in Nigeria that I can digitize? I can use tech to digitize. You look for somebody who is a software engineer and you partner with them to start a company. And you guys could probably say, okay, we want to use AI to be giving legal summary to lawyers. So lawyers don't have to spend 10 hours reading court legal summaries. They could just pass it through our device and it will summarize all the legal terms for them. You are in a good position to go into such a space because you have a legal background. So investors are going to be like, why are you the right person to solve this problem? And you go, yeah, I'm the right person because I am my co-founder. We have foundational background in this space. I'm a lawyer and he is an engineer. And that gives you founder market fit, right? So you have a lot of options. Look into DAAD and think of how you could start digitizing whatever legal processes you can digitize. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. So the final question here is from Feishayo, and she asks, how can I change my funding route from blocked account to scholarship for my visa application?
I mean, how can you change to a scholarship? I mean, it's just to look for a scholarship and find one. When you find one, you don't have to do blocked account anymore. It's one of either. You don't have to do both. So if you find a scholarship, go online. Again, DAD is the best place to go for scholarships because I think they've started this process for the next year. So just apply to DAD, do your best to get it. DAD pays you monthly. So I think they get around 950 euros every month. So get the AD and they get a lot of support as well. So apply it. If you get the AD, you don't need a blocked account and your visa happens in 3 weeks. Very fast. So yeah. Mine was, that's why I said my scholarship is not the traditional scholarship you think. And that's why I had to take my time to really offer that context that I offered.
Right, sir. So a question just came in now from Kenneth. So the question is, please, I studied pharmacy but did professional masters in logistics and supply chain. Can I apply for PhD direct?
Yes. Once you have a master's, yes, you can.
All right, sir. Please, Ada Nugo, I didn't get your question.
Okay, she says DAD
Oh,
offer.
DAD offers scholarship for only postgraduate students.
Yeah, they do, but again, like I said, is how you tell your story. I've seen people who apply to look, if DAD is saying they are taking applications and they allow you, provided they allow you register and you can send documents, do it, right? Do it. And it's true that they only allow postgraduates. So you can also look at universities. Tuition in Germany is generally free of charge. And again, you have 2 years to prepare if you don't get DAAD, right? So that's, of course, I told you German waiting process is 2 years. So you can do a lot in that 2 years. And that's why I said don't rush. 10,000 euros, 13,000 euros is not a lot of money. It's a lot of money, make I no lie, but it's something that you can literally still plan yourself in Nigeria and save up for. I have a friend who did that. She basically graduated in Nigeria and saved up her blocked account funds from working in Nigeria. So she lived with her parents and she was working. In fact, she's studying at Code now. She's in her last year semester at Code. And she saved up her blocked her because she had a boyfriend who was here already and she wanted to join him by all means. So she found a job in Nigeria and worked for like 2 years and saved up all her salary because she was then living with her parents. She saved up all her salary and she's in Germany now. So even though she has broken up with the boyfriend because they eventually came to Europe and started quarreling. But the point is that it's doable. If you plan it very well, it's very doable. I know it's difficult to say because of course my own was easy, but I know it's very much doable. I know it's very much doable.
So
Another
all right, that oh sorry. You
Yeah,
can
and
go ahead.
if you have people in Germany that you know,
All right, thank you so much, sir. That will be the end of the question and answer section. Please, if you have any other question to ask us, you can send us a DM on WhatsApp with the number in the chat section. Thank you so much. So, Prof, I can go on.
All right, thank you very much, Nima. And Kachi, thank you very much, Mr. Samuel, for taking our time to go through all the experience and application process, share with us your experience and everything. Thank you so, so much. And lastly, the second to the last event of this webinar will be um, uh, products to inform everybody, to remind everybody of our products and services that we're in the at a resume multipurpose company. And very quickly to undo that, I would call on Kachi. Kachi, are you here?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon, or still good morning, everybody. Thanks for being part of this webinar, and thanks to Mr. Samuel. Thanks for the knowledge about Germany. Thank you so much. Okay, so our company, AA Resume Multipurpose Company, we are quite into a lot of things that has to do with visa, traveling abroad, and so I would go about it in the next 4 to 5 minutes. I will be off your face. So we do UK sponsorship job. For example, you have a brother, you have a sister who is based abroad, who is currently looking for a job over there. We can actually help him or her get something doing in UK, in US, in Canada, Netherlands, Australia, and New Zealand, right? We can actually help you get something doing. You must be there. We can't help you get a job while you're still in Nigeria. We won't be able to help you do that. But once you're over there and you're job hunting, we can help you achieve that. Uh, we are also into academic writing, right? For your research purposes, just like Mr. Samuel have spoken, some of these writings that you need to do to get your papers ongoing, we can help you achieve that as well. We can also help you do your cover letter, your SOPs, right? Your referral letter, and even your LinkedIn optimization and your business plans as well. We can help you write that. And we are also into admission and visa processing, which is why some of us are here. So here is the thing. Mr. Sema has spoken about Germany. we are not just only restricted to only helping you to get admission into German university. No. We can also help you look at Netherlands, UK, US, Australia, Iceland, this Canada. We can help you gain admission in one of the universities in this country. So if you're looking at Germany and you're thinking, okay, I don't want to go to Germany, you can also check out UK, you can check out US, you can check out Australia, Netherlands, New Zealand, Iceland, Canada. We can help you get a school in one of these universities in one of these countries. So we can also help you start you don't have an international passport, we can help you at, get your international passport. All you just need to do is reach out to us. There's a chat which has been directing you to a WhatsApp number. So you don't have your international passport because, I mean, if you don't have an international passport, you can't be able to go to either of these countries to study. So it starts by getting that as well. So you can reach out to us via WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp number is here. You can chat us, and we know which of our products would you want us to serve you with. Thank you so much, and thank you once again for joining the webinar. All right, Prosper, you can take it up from here.
All right, thank you very much, Ginika. The next agenda is closing remark, and I would like to call on Mr. Babatunde. Mr. Babatunde, please, can you hear me? All right, I guess he's not online. So we want to use this medium to appreciate everyone for taking our time to join this webinar. I hope you've been able to learn one or two things from this session. And I want to appreciate the speaker for your contribution. It's been impactful and helpful. Thank you very much, Mr. Samuel. Do you have any closing words to any one of us?
All I would say is, I mean, I've already mentioned it several times. Like, we're all young. Life is, I don't know, but look, just take a deep breath. Everything you want out of life would happen. Most of the stress you feel most times are not necessary. Don't feel pressured. Don't feel like you need to prove anything to anybody. Just stay and focus on your fundamentals. Learn the things you need to learn. Become good at the things you need to become good at. And just wake up every day and look forward to life, basically. If you have a plan, start early, start on time, so that you don't have to rush it. Start early, start on time, plan very well, and take advantage of course, there are consultations that have just been mentioned. Consult experts when in things, it saves you a lot of stress, you know. If you can consult experts, please leverage expert knowledge, expert services. And yeah, I mean, if you need help, I don't know, I'm not a this thing, but I can advise. So you can reach out if you can, but we would all be fine, guys. It's not a terrible world yet. The world is not ending. So just take a deep breath and enjoy life one day at a time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samuel. Just like Nima said, if you have any other question, please do not hesitate to reach out to our customer care representative WhatsApp line. She will always be there to respond to you. Thank you very much all for joining. It's been nice having us on board. Enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye.